Yeah, when you see the highlights, it makes it out like Leeds had 5 or 6 really good chances. We were just hanging on and we just nicked a goal, but I don't think it was like that at all.
Here we go. Welcome to the Pompey Pod with Mike and Dan. No Tolly this week. He's off with work. But wow, what a game. What a game to celebrate. What a game against league leaders, Leeds United. You two called it, actually. You and Tolly both called it last week by saying it would be just a Pompey thing to do, to lose to Luton and then beat top of the table Leeds. How was it, Dan? How was the day?
Yeah, it was class. I think it's definitely the best game this season. Could even possibly be the best game over the last 2 years, maybe over the last 2 seasons. Yeah, I think so. I think it was that good. Yeah, the atmosphere was that good, and I just thought the way we played was really good. I think that was the thing that I just thought was the best thing about it, was the way we played. The fact that we played well first half to restrict them to double shot that they had. Where Schmid did that double save, and that was about it. And then I even said to my brother at half time, it's going to be tough to come out the second half and do it all again for another 45 minutes, what we've just done against the Leeds, the best team in the league, just to keep them out. And then the fact that we played the way we did second half, which I thought for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we were virtually in their half for the start of the second half. Other than that one chance they had just after half time where they broke clear. Yeah, I just thought that was the best bit, the way we played.
Yeah, and it was throughout as well, wasn't it? It was from the first minute. I thought, and you can understand we were tiring towards the end, and I thought we encouraged them towards us a little bit. We sat a little bit deep, but still, just throwing bodies in the way and just people are out on their feet, weren't they? Let's go through the game because, like you said, we started really, really well, and although we didn't really have any clear-cut chances, we created a few things, and it was just that final little ball or whatever, wasn't it? It was kind of that high press really worked. Again, Leeds came and decided, we're going to still try and play out from the back, and I suppose when you're that good, you can. But it worked, didn't it, for Pompey?
Yeah. Yeah, but it was almost like, I know it was the high press, but it was almost like it was a bit of a deeper press. I don't know whether that sounds a bit strange, but even straight from the kickoff, literally the first ball that the Leeds played it back to their defence, and we just sat off them a little bit, and it was almost like their defence was sort of going, well, hold on a minute, we were told they're going to just press us, it's going to be straight on us, and they just played it across the back. It was almost like they desperately wanted us to come and press them, but we were just hanging back to sort of 5 or 10 yards. So
I wonder if that, because I saw that and I thought, I wonder if that, because it's almost like, because there was even a time when their goalkeeper came out almost like 10 yards out of the box, wasn't it? And it was like they were playing it back into him, like mid first half, I think it was.
Yeah.
Almost as if to say, come on, come and press us. But we didn't. We almost let like one of their centre backs or their goalkeeper just have it for a little bit. I wonder if that was because our Sheesh isn't as physical in the press as what Lang is, so therefore we kind of just allowed. We just dropped off a little bit, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know if that was
possibly. Yeah. That sounds. Yeah, it did. It did, but it worked really well, I thought.
And I thought the thing is, when we did get those chances, Murphy again just whipping balls into the box early, wasn't he? Unfortunately, they were always a little bit too close. Excuse me, a little bit too close to the keeper to make him dangerous. But we did have those couple of little chances, didn't we? There was one where Richie just put it slightly behind Bishop, where he could have even played it across the box too. I think it was our Sheesh on the far side where we had more space. It's just those little final balls just didn't quite work, did they? But then every time Leeds came forward, you thought a little bit nervous. Not that they created much, it still made you nervous.
I think like you say, it was just the sort of that final ball by us, and then when you've got players like Dan James on the other team, although we restricted him to very little, when he does get the ball, it's just that they can be dangerous. That they're Premier League quality players.
Yeah,
but
two big talking points in the first half. First one, don't know how good a view you would have got of it, but Matt Ritchie literally lifting Dan James into the air.
Well, that's pretty much the only
for you?
Well, that's the only negative I've seen from sort of social media. I think that's the other thing I wanted to say was that 90% of the comments from Leeds fans are saying, "Well done, Pompey. You fully deserved it. Really well played," which is really good to see. And the Leeds manager as well. The first thing he said was, the first thing I want to say is, congratulations to Portsmouth." So that was really good. But we didn't even notice that at the time, the Matt Ritchie foul. I think possibly because it was at the Fratton end, so you didn't really hear too many shouts from the Leeds fans. So yeah, we only saw it on the way home. We were like, they were talking about a penalty shout. I don't even remember that. And then when I saw it on the replay, I was like, yes, yeah, he's definitely gone. And he did go straight through him, didn't he? And it is right in front of the referee, and you can see why some Leeds fans have got really annoyed by it. But I think it's just lucky for us that the ball seems to go in the same direction as where Matt Ritchie was sort of swinging his leg. So it could, you'd think, maybe if he did hit the ball, then that's the direction the ball would have gone. So, but yeah, he definitely goes through the back of it, doesn't he? Definitely goes through.
Referee's giving us the benefit of the doubt because of that, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, and I thought the referee was really good as well. Other than that, I know you say that when you win, but I thought he was very good. I thought there were a lot of sort of 50-50 tackles where we've had quite a few referees at Fratton Park where they want to take control and they stop the game as much as they can, but he let a lot of things go. And I thought it was really good. Other than that penalty decision.
I agree, but I also would say he did let a lot of things go that were clear yellow cards as well. Before Paul got booked, he was, I think, our first booking. We could have quite easily had 2 or 3 before that, and I think Leeds had 1 or 2 that they could have had as well.
Leeds definitely had 2 before the Paul.
Yeah.
Before the Paul
of course, yeah. In fact, thinking about it, the breakaway when Murphy went away and Bogle just took him out. Yeah, that's a blatant yellow card all day long, isn't it? And but yeah, other than that, and like you say, the one which was definitely a penalty. That other than that, but the second big, obviously the opportunity you mentioned it, you kind of alluded to it earlier, but the shot, double save from Schmid, and that kind of was the first real big save of several from him, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was class. Yeah, did really well. Just got behind the ball. I thought he might have been offside as well on the second shot when I first saw it, but he wasn't, was he? So yeah, really good. Just spread himself, made himself big.
Would you say
the guy should have done a lot.
A bit of both?
I think it's a bit of both. I think if you're shooting from 6 yards, you want to hit the target, but you've got to hit the corners, haven't you? You've got
6 yards out, and you're the top scorer. It's not even as if you're not on form. You're the top scorer, league's top scorer, and Leeds' top scorer. You'd think that's a goal all day long, isn't it? Same player, 5 minutes into the second half. As you mentioned, like we kind of dominated that first 20 minutes, but there was that period, obviously, where they broke away. On this, I thought Swanson did really well there, actually, because it was obviously a 2-on-1. And Swanson's, James could have just run at him, couldn't he? But Swanson kind of positioned himself, and it was very deliberate because I saw him kept checking over his shoulder at the player in the middle, and he positions himself right in the middle. So James would have to bend that ball, which he did eventually, but I thought James did it a little bit too late. He then did okay. I thought the keeper slowed him down a bit, but obviously he pulled back, and how he's missed that. I think that's a worse miss than the one which Schmid saves, isn't it, really? Although the player's in the line.
Yeah, I think so. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but that's when you know it's your day, isn't it? When those chances are missed.
Yes.
But I think that's the only time when they really were sort of, it was 2 against 1, wasn't it, at the back and clear, and that's the only time in the game, which is pretty good going against Leeds for that to happen.
It was one of those games, wasn't it, whereby Schmid got man of the match from the sponsors, whoever it was on the day, but there could have been 4 or 5, I think, who you could have given man of the match to, couldn't you? It was one of those games. I thought was quality. I thought Potts was really good.
Yeah.
Back 4, you probably couldn't fault any of the back 4, really, could you? I thought they were all excellent.
Yeah, I said Dazelle as well. I thought Dazelle. I thought he was class. But then again, like you say, every player. I don't think there was a bad performance. I think every player worked hard, and they could have all got it quite easily.
Yeah. Nice to see Colby get on the score sheet, especially one that's like a little run in behind, which is not his sort of goal, is it? But it kind of keeps a few people quiet for a little while, doesn't it? I think he gets unnecessary stick for the amount of work he does for the team. It's phenomenal, but it was good finish. But just before that, we actually had a little run of shots, didn't we? Because Murphy had a couple of shots in quick succession. One kind of deflected off for a corner where he could have played in Ritchie, I think. Instead, he could have just knocked it wide to Ritchie. And then another one he had wasn't as good in quick succession. But then also there's a ball across to Bishop, literally just before he scored. There's a ball across to him, and it was a little bit like the Burnley one. You remember where he tried to open up his body and just guide it in and completely missed it. And at that stage, I was thinking, Bishop, he's going to get grief for this, isn't he? People are going to be on his back. And then literally within a minute, the ball through from Ogilvy, which was a lovely ball. Indecision from the goalkeeper. You're not so sure. You think it's just a hit?
Yeah, I think it was just a hit. Yeah, I think if you look at Ogilvy, he's got his head down. I think and I think it was Dan James, wasn't it, coming to him to put pressure on him. I think he's just hit a ball down the line. But
I think he's hit into a space. I think he's hit into a space.
Of course, he has done. Yeah, but
because if you look at it beforehand, he looks. The ball comes out to him and he doesn't play it at first. He then turns back, goes back to Pack. I think it was. It then goes back to the goalkeeper, comes back out of Pack. Then goes back to him again, and then the second time round he plays the ball, which I just, fair enough. Ultimately, if the goalkeeper's on his game, the goalkeeper comes out and takes that, doesn't he? Really, the goalkeeper hesitated, let Bishop in, and I think Bishop even said himself he expected to see the goalkeeper there, and it was expecting like a penalty, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
When he realised
like
the keeper wasn't there.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect the goal to come. The goal that scored would be Bishop running in behind the defence, outpacing their defenders and dinking it over the keeper, would you?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, lovely finish though, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I thought even when you look at the highlights, it makes it look like Leeds were all over us and that they had all these chances, and it wasn't that sort of game at all. It didn't feel like that at all. I thought we were really comfortable. That was the pleasing thing. We were quite comfortable. Other than obviously the last few minutes when you're just hanging on and you know they're going to put pressure on you. But yeah, when you see the highlights, it makes it out like Leeds had 5 or 6 really good chances. And we were just hanging on and we just nicked a goal. But I don't think it was like that at all.
It's one of those that on another day they could have had a couple more, couldn't they? Or a couple rather. But like you said earlier, it's kind of one of those days where you also know that when certain things happen, like when they hit the crossbar and then Dan James almost not a free header because he had to get above Ogilvy, but nowhere near the target on his rebound, was it?
Yeah.
And then the other one where that player kind of luckily, I thought, kind of managed to get through the defence and was one-on-one with Schmid. Schmid just came out and spread himself, didn't he? But again, better contact on that might have been different. But I think we deserved our luck, really. I think the way we played, we were deserving of it.
Yeah.
One thing I'd also add is because I was, if I'm honest with you, I wasn't out of everyone that played. I don't want to be too critical, but I just think it's not his game. I just think Al-Shish was probably the one player for me who was a little bit off it because he doesn't offer that physical presence that Lang gives you. Now, when he came off and Devlin came on, I thought that kind of changed. It didn't change the way because we were on top of that time anyway. But physically, with Devlin in that 10 role, I thought it gave us more of the Lang-esque approach and put them under a lot more pressure. I think Al-Shish fair play would be. He's only 5'7" and maybe 10.5 stone, isn't he? He just hasn't got that physical presence to get about there. And I think in that sort of game and the style of play that we do, he also then doesn't have enough time to do whatever. I've not really seen his technical ability as yet, if I'm honest with you, in a Pompey shirt. So I wouldn't be upset if I saw Devlin start in the 10 in the next game. Yeah,
true. I think Devlin gives everyone a lift anyway, doesn't he? Wherever he plays, you know that he's going to do a job. You know that he's going to give 100%. But at the same time, maybe the Plymouth game, Al-Shish at home, that might be a good chance for him to get a goal, get an assist.
Yeah, maybe.
Sort of run the show a little bit more because he's not going to do that against Leeds. And like you say, it's difficult for him to make a big contribution to the game, against a team like Leeds. So we'll see, but I wouldn't be disappointed to see Devlin start. I don't think he will. I think he'll be a sub again. I think
he'll be the same.
Bring on. Yeah, I think he'll be the same.
Same lineup, fair enough. But what it does mean is that we are 10 points above the drop. We play Plymouth next, as you mentioned, during the week, Wednesday night. And I genuinely think now 2 more wins, although we won't be mathematically safe, 2 more wins, I think we'll be safe. because if you look at the amount of teams in between us and you look at the form of the teams in between us, the only team that have got any sort of form is Hull, really, and even they're kind of off and on, aren't they? They're kind of they win one, lose one, win one, lose one. We've now won 4 out of 5. Even obviously Luton beat us, but then they go and lose the next game. You've got Colby, fair enough. Again, they won at the weekend, but they've lost 10 or they haven't won in 10 or 12 before that. So I think it's looking all right, isn't it? Looks like we've got ourselves potentially another year in the Championship. Don't want to mechanics and all that, but
I think so. I think it's going to take a massive cock up for us to finish in the bottom 3 now. I think you Luton, Derby, and Plymouth. They've got to win 2 or 3 games in a row, and
more than us,
or more than us,
yeah. And the teams in between have to also not as well. So they have to have worse form than us. So
touch wood. We should be okay now. I think
so. Phenomenal one, and an excellent job. I think excellent job all round. If I'm honest with you, my only concern as we go towards the end of the season is potentially who we may lose if big offers coming. Because I think you could have a big offer for Murphy for sure. I think you potentially could have one for Lang as well.
Yeah. But I think if they said you're in that position at the end of the season, if they'd said that a few weeks ago, well, at the end of the season, you'll still be in the Championship, but you'll be possibly losing players. You'd say, well, okay, we'll take that. And hopefully we can get other players in. But
absolutely,
we shall see.
We shall see. So we'll be back with a preview of Preston later in the week. But before that, we do play Plymouth. We won't have a Plymouth preview. But by the time we play Preston, because Preston play against Sunderland midweek away, we play at home against Plymouth. We could be above Preston come the weekend. Yeah. Another place up the table. What do you think of the Plymouth game? What's your
let's just hope. My only concern is that there's so much effort put into today's game, the Leeds game on Sunday. Yeah, let's just hope we just don't take our foot off. And I don't know. Let's just.
I don't think they will. I don't think they'll take it. I think if anything, it'll just be because they're shattered.
That's what I mean.
They've given 100%, and it's going to be a big ask. But it doesn't seem the sort of squad that do. I know we've had off games this season, but I think we've had off games. Pardon me. I think we've had off games mainly because I think travel has come into it as well. But we haven't really had that many off games at home, have we? Really?
No. And I think you're likely to see players like Hayden come in. Yeah. He may even start Yengi over Bishop, give him the rest. Who else? Waddingham's back, isn't he?
Yeah.
Waddingham. So, there might be 2 or 3 changes. We shall see.
And obviously, we've got the new guy at the defender as well, Milosevic. Maybe he might get some minutes at some stage during that game as well.
Possibly.
What was quite interesting, actually, you mentioned about Waddingham. Is it Waddingham or Waddington?
I think it's Waddingham, isn't it? I'm sure it is. But somebody said Waddington today. And I was like, oh, hold on a minute. I'm going to have to look at it now. No, it is Waddingham, yeah.
Waddingham. Yeah.
And then I saw, somebody said Waddington, and I thought, oh, maybe it's not Waddingham then. Don't trust social media.
But one of the things with him, obviously he was on the bench, but we had 3 strikers on the bench at the weekend, which is nice. Nice change. Nice. Plus, you had Gordon as well, another attack-minded player, which, again, when you're playing the top of the league, is interesting to see. Okay, so what do you think? So you think if we're up for it, we'll be fine?
We should be beating Plymouth at home. Plymouth at home. It's just how much has it taken out of us, this win at the weekend, beating Leeds. Let's just not go from there back down to there.
No.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough, but we should really win that game.
I agree, but I think we will. I think we will win. I think we may see the effects of it come the weekend at Preston.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll be back anyway with a weekend. No, we won't. We'll be back later in the week with a preview of the weekend's game at Preston. Why not? Get involved with the pod. Put some comments down below. What did you think of the Leeds game? Were you there? Anyway, this has been the Pompey Pod. Play up. Pompey, goodbye.
Bye.